Happy Friday. Welcome to another lunch break webinar. This is me inside of my car, and you're probably asking why I'm inside of my car. I have the opportunity to work from home, and we just had a baby on. Thing is awesome, healthy, but they're inside right next to my office with a 2-year-old making a little bit of noise. So today, the few moments that we have here, I'm gonna be inside my Honda Civic out in the front yard of my house. So awesome time of year. We have Thanksgiving approaching. We have Christmas right around the corner, a month after Thanksgiving. Then those of you that have the New Year's resolutions, it's a time to start over, a new year. But you know how awesome that is that our whole culture focuses on being generous and thankful and buying gifts and all those things are great things. How awesome that is in those 2 months in that time period of our culture focusing on that. How awesome would it be if the other 10 months we continue that trend and continue to do that season of thankfulness and generosity? So on top of that, also want to remind you that since it is very easy to be generous at times, we have to make sure we go into the season with some boundaries, and I mean boundaries, financial boundaries. So the boundaries that when we are at Target, when we are at Bass Pro Shop, that we really focus on how much we have to spend to be generous. Or if you're taking the steps of making it a crafty Christmas and you want to buy your crafts and make your crafts, you still have to know how much you have to spend on your crafts to make for a crafty Christmas. So on top of that, also want to wish all you out there that are getting burdened with this colder weather up north, stay warm, stay healthy, drink a lot of water. So that's what we have today for the lunch break webinar. I hope you can stay in touch with us at next week's lunch break webinar. We're also during the week on our Facebook page. Like us, Financial Storehouse. Follow us on Instagram, and always can contact me at david.schmidt, that's SCHMIDT, at financialstorehouse.com. Okay, we have somebody joining us. Let's see who we got. And that's another thing I wanted to remind those who just joined that this is my first time with Google Hangout. I'm looking forward to learning how to do this more. Okay, trying to work out where it's not so to this week's lunch break webinar. The Okay, I have to move on, but so another lunch break webinar where why are you asking, am I in my car? Where my wife and I just got home from having a new baby boy, Bennett Keith Schmidt, and also have a 2-year-old inside the house. And because of that, I have the opportunity of working at home in my office from the house. And anytime there's a 2-year-old and a newborn baby and family coming to see the baby, it can get somewhat noisy. So I'm in the front yard and have the privilege of doing this week's lunch break webinar in the front yard of my house. So with that said, I'm excited about another lunch break webinar, and I'm excited about being back at our home. Last night was our first night back at the home with the new addition to our family. So we have a season of thankfulness. We have a season of Christmas time. We have a season of Thanksgiving time, all approaching these next couple months, and to enjoy the generosity, enjoy the thankfulness, and I think which is a huge factor of why so many people love this time of year that we're approaching, or that we're just getting in, because of how filled it is and how our culture is filled with thankfulness and generosity even more this time of year, and focusing on that. You know, whether it's through spending a whole bunch of money on gifts, or spending more money than we need to on gifts and giving them to people, it's still under the umbrella of giving and generosity. And that's what I want to talk a little bit more about today, is when we do go shopping and when we do get ready for this time of generosity and giving, that we are being intentional and you have mapped out how much you or your household has to spend on Christmas gifts. My wife's birthday is also in the same time of this Christmas season. So, you know, I even have to make sure that our household, our gift giving amount this year, we include her birthday as well. But at the end of the day, over Thanksgiving and Christmas and the traveling and going to see over the hills and through the woods to grandmother's house we go, we need to know how much we are going to spend going on the trips to visit the family, and how much we're going to spend buying gifts while we're traveling to go see the family on Thanksgiving, on Black Friday. So I think you get the point, that whether we're in January or whether we're in November, we need to be intentional. And if we weren't intentional earlier on this time of year, make sure this coming January, a couple months away, you're already planning out your Christmas and your Thanksgiving travels each month, putting in, and allocating money for those travel funds and for those gift giving funds that you can enjoy and have fun using through shopping and through just giving or buying gifts. Whatever form of giving and generosity you're doing this year, we need to begin planning for it in January. So again, this lunch break webinar's theme is more just on the season that we're in. The Thanksgiving and Christmas is the season that we're approaching, and how awesome it is. But without having that plan that we talk about so much here at the lunch break webinar, whether it's in January, whether it's in November, without having that plan, especially in this season that we're in, with all involved with it, this can really burden, regardless of what situation you're in. If you're still in step 2 and trying to eliminate that, Christmas is going to make you free up your income. If you're in step 3, trying to save up that 3 to 6 months of expenses in cash, Christmas and this traveling time and Thanksgiving time can really make or break you financially. Not that buying that stuff is bad, and not that you're going to be set back for years, and Christmas and buying should be bad. No, it's not that. But just right now, while you're in that step 3, we have to sacrifice short-term period, this Christmas, maybe next Christmas, depending on how much more you have to do in step 3, on how much more you have to save up in cash for your 3 to 6 months expenses. But regardless of what step you're on, Christmas and Thanksgiving time can really make or break you regarding your finances. And I have to remind you and remind myself that I want everyone to travel. I want everyone to buy each other gifts. I want all those things to take place. But more than anything, my resolve is to want you to be in a peaceful place financially, and to get you in the best position and to leverage all the resources and the income that you've been blessed to have, by leveraging that with the opportunities that go in front of you each and every day, or each and every week. Or if you're like in my case, where you just got out of the hospital and your wife's going to be on a 6-month maternity leave, regardless of what situation you're in, I want that for you more than I want you to have a gift buying extravaganza this Christmas or next Christmas. So remember, it's all short term. You're gonna sacrifice these Christmases, these next couple Christmases, so a few years from now you can buy more gifts for people, or pay more people's power bill, or bless the socks off of somebody, and in more ways a few Christmases from now and a few Thanksgivings from now, if we're able to maintain and get out of whatever step. If we're in step 2, paying off debt to get out of that debt, or step 3, saving up that 3 to 6 months expenses, I can't wait till everyone is in that step, 4, 5, 6, and 7, whether all your debts are paid for. You have 3 months of expenses saved in cash, and now you're just enjoying life, plugging away, contributing towards retirement. If you have kids, kids saving a little bit each month for their college, even if right now all you can do is just $20 a month, and times are tight, get that $20 a month automatically taken from your checking account into your education savings account, and chip away at it. It might only be a short season that you're only doing $20 a month. It might be a year or 2 years, but as your income changes or increases, switch that number up to turn it up a little bit to fund the kids' college, because we all know that the older that we get, the funner we have, and the funner we have, time goes by fast when we're having fun. So chip away at the college savings, and step 6, whatever you don't want to throw extra at your budget for lifestyles or for giving or for saving, throw it at the mortgage to go chip away at that. And again, a lot of this, it might take a decade. It might take a little bit longer. So don't sprint through that step 6. Of course, I want you to go as hard as you want to go, but at the same time, once we're at step 4, we're in a great place. In speaking about financial, not that it's all about finances, but at that point, you can let off the gas a little bit, still stay focused, and still have a plan each month. That's a non-negotiable. But don't be so getting yourself to a point where you burn out too quickly, because once you get to step 4 through 6, you're going to do step 4, 5, and 6 at the same time. Which step 4 is, to remind those that don't know or don't have it posted on their desktop. Step 4 is we're contributing at least 10 to 15% towards retirement. Step 5, we're throwing and contributing a little bit towards kids' college if we have kids. And step 6 is if we have a mortgage, we're throwing a little bit extra. So we're doing 4, 5, and 6 at the same time as we do life. Next thing you know, 5, 10 years goes by, retirement's that much more funded. Oh, and by the way, this goes without saying, but let me go ahead and say it just to be safe. Throughout this time, we're staying out of debt, because at this point we've eliminated all of our debts but our mortgage, and now each month we're living on a plan and avoiding debt. We're making that sacrifices. If we have to pay cash for all we have saved up for the next car is $6,000 or $4,000, well, guess what? A season and a time period of our life, we're going to drive around that $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 car. So next thing you know, as 5 and 10 years goes by, we're doing 4, 5, and 6 at the same time. You're contributing towards retirement. You're funding kids' college, and you're throwing a little bit at the mortgage. And watch how quick that mortgage goes down. At the same time, watch how quick your retirement goes up, as well as the kids' college. So, awesome season that we're in. I love Thanksgiving. I have so much to be thankful for. Just got released after having a baby, my wife having a baby. So my thankful meter is on cloud 9. But we have to be careful that thankfulness and that generosity. Do we budget out in our budget giving? Absolutely. That's what I encourage and hope we can do, regardless if right now you're in the situation of you can only give a little. That's between what you and your spouse and what your God you believe in want to do. But I encourage you to pray about it and ponder on the amount that you can give inside of that budget spreadsheet that you've gotten already from logging into our lunch break webinars previously. Or if you want a budget spreadsheet that we have for free, just email me at info@financialstorehouse.com. But inside of that budget, there's money allocated for giving. And if you're a Christ follower and what I guess you would call a Christian, we encourage and try to live by our tithe and giving our tithe. And there's a conversation on the difference between tithe and offerings, but really, I don't know the answer. I'm not God, and don't portray to be, but I do know that we need to be giving, and that's to our our church that we go and worship in. And if you don't want to give to your church, and you're not involved in a church yet, I recommend and suggest to ponder and pray about getting involved with the ministry or a project that you believe in that helps feed the kids or homeless parents or whatever it may be. Pouring into and pressing in on that mission or project with your giving. So all of that to say, of course, here at Financial Storehouse, we encourage the heck out of giving, love to giving, and another time for another webinar. But there's a webinar coming soon where generosity is a prerequisite of becoming wealthy. And again, wealthy can mean so many other things than money. But to be wealthy, not only financially, but mentally, and be in a wealthy state of mind, and spiritually, and yes, there's thunderstorms some days out of the week, but big picture, to be in that place, you know, it's hard to get to that place when we're constantly late on payments, or constantly doing things outside of our income and living outside of our means. So let's get there. We want to get there. We want to get to that place, so that we can, a few Christmases from now, a few Thanksgivings from now, bless the socks off of people by giving them stuff, or money, or however way or form you want to give. We can do more of that in the future Thanksgivings and Christmases. So anybody out there want to share with this community and with this hangout session where you're going for Thanksgiving, or you're excited about going somewhere that you haven't been in a while for Thanksgiving, or even the Christmas times? Okay. Well, again, I apologize for any, this is my first stab at going at Google Hangout, and I'm looking forward to hanging out on Google Hangout more. But I am a greenhorn, and I am learning how to, for whatever reason, the Q&A box on the right side is saying this feature is disabled. So I hope to have that open running by next lunch break webinar. And I apologize for the newness, but follow us on Instagram, Financial Storehouse. Like our Facebook page, Financial Storehouse. And again, don't hesitate to contact me throughout the week via email at david.schmidt, that's SCHMIDT, at financialstorehouse.com. And let's continue to encourage each other and have accountability in our lives to best behave with the income and the stuff that we are blessed to have. See you next Friday, and have a blessed weekend.